again and again.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is part one of the Mega Service series that I'm working on here. I just want to start off by saying I've got a freshly installed fire alarm upstairs, and it's still got the tab inside of it, so it's beeping every so often because of the we want to keep the dust off it and stuff like that. Doing a little bit of a reno upstairs, so if that bothers you, I apologize in advance. It's just a kind of annoying little beep every so often. But yeah, so getting into it, I got all the tools and stuff laid out here for this oil change. It's really basic. I mean, I'm sure lots of you guys have already done it. If you haven't and you just want a couple pointers on kind of the easiest way to do it, and torque specs and all that good stuff, this is the video for you. So yeah, like I said in previous videos, you're going to need 10 liters of 5W40. I'm using Rotella T6. You can use a couple of different oils out there. They do have to meet certain specs. I can't exactly remember which one it is, but Rotella T6 is insane oil. You know, it's the trucker's oil. I've sent my oil off for sampling. I've only done it once, but I did it around 150,000 kilometers just to kind of see what it's all about. And they were saying my oil is coming back just mint. So keep it the same interval, they said. I run my oil straight through to 16,000 kilometers. I've been using these Ecogard premium oil filters. I've got a link in the description. You can get a 12 pack of these for like $200 Canadian. So, I mean, you cannot beat the price. You know, if you're in warranty, this might be something you don't really want to get into for warranty purposes. But personally for me, the price it is, I would just use these. And if I blew an engine up, I'd probably just swap this one out for a Mopar filter. Like, honestly, that's how expensive the oil changes are for this truck. And who's going to know the difference? So yeah, this is the Ecogard X10232. Like I said, it's in the description there, so pick yourself up one of those, or you can rock the Mopar filters if you'd like. So yeah, 10 liters, you know, get your favorite funnel ready. I'm just using this little dinky funnel, but works fine. Some rags, you know, try to keep as clean where you can. These 5 liter jugs, you know, it comes out fast, so you want to stay on top of it. Sockets, it's pretty simple. You know, I'm using a 1/2 inch drive. Depending on who put the drain plug on last, you might be fighting with it, so a little bit extra leverage doesn't hurt. You're looking at 13 millimeter for the drain plug on the bottom. It's super easy to get at. And the filter housing, so the filter actually sits in a housing on these trucks. It just clips in. The housing's in the engine bay. It sits kind of upside down. There's a nut on top of it to thread the housing off. And then, you know, you just let it kind of drain for a little bit. Take it off, you can pull the filter out. So the nut on the top there is 1 1/16", okay? You don't need a fancy extension or nothing. You just 2 sockets and a ratchet, and away you go. Draining up pan, make sure you get a big enough drain pan, right? So you're putting 10 liters in, 10 liters should come out. Get one a little bit bigger than usual. You know, when me and my wife were living in the city, I used to do all my oil changes in the driveway, and I slid, not this one, I had a little bit smaller one, and I slid that one out and put about 2 liters of oil right on the front lawn. And you want to talk about grass curling over and dying. It was pretty funny. Well, it wasn't funny actually. Had a nice big brown spot for the next year or two. So yeah, this is the tools you need. You can wear some gloves if you'd like, if you're into that. I'll probably end up filming the rest of the oil change with my GoPro, just so I can get in underneath the truck. You should have no issues getting underneath the truck, especially if you got the stock tires on. There's plenty of room. You don't need a jack or ramps or anything fancy like that. You should be able to slide right underneath with the pan. No issues at all. I've even got snow tires on my truck, and they're smaller. I can still squeeze underneath the running board there, so shouldn't have any issues there. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so we're back underneath the truck. I've loosened the drain bolt just a smidge, just enough so I can get it by hand. Keep your hand nice and high. Make sure your drain pan is underneath and let her ride. Now if you got a fancy drain plan, you can put your bolt there. And don't forget to bring some rags with you. So yeah, we'll let this drain now I let it drain for at least a half an hour. And we'll head into the engine bay and we'll open up the dipstick and pull the filter and let some of this air come through the system here, and this will help drain a lot faster. Okay, we're back up top. Next order operation here is just pull the dipstick. You don't have to pull it right out, just give it, you know, something like that. That's going to help a lot of the air drain through the system, and the oil will start coming out a lot quicker. Okay, then we'll switch over to our filter here. So here's the filter housing like I was talking about. You can see the nut on the top. So yeah, you're just going to want to switch over to your 1.25 inch and 1/16. Come on in here. Kind of tricky to do with one hand, but you shouldn't be on too tight. They do have quite a few threads though, so you really got to work at it. There you go. It starts getting super loose, so now it's just about off. Get a couple rags ready, okay? Just loosen the housing right off. Hopefully you guys can see that, but once you loosen the housing right off, you just pull it up and try to catch a lot of that oil in that teeny little lip there, okay? Not too bad. Smooth. So over time that oil should drain out. I've had it not drain either though, so you just got to make sure you're taking your time when you put the oil back, or when you put the filter back in with the housing, that you don't you know, switch that all around and make a complete mess of yourself. It's pretty straightforward. Give everything a little bit of a clean. Now what I like to do is just get the new, comes with the new O-ring. I'll just take some rags, stick those down in there. Now sometimes it's a bit of a peckerhead to get these out, but there we go. You just gotta grab onto it, give it a couple wiggles, and she'll pop right out. Filters in there. This in here. You know, just clean everything. Yeah. Other than that, there's a new O-ring. To get these O-rings off, if you want, you can just take a little screwdriver or something. And you just give it a little bit of a pinch. You pinch it, get the screwdriver under, get your finger under, and then just work it around. Pop that old O-ring out of there. Get the new one. Put a bit of oil on it. And just make sure you got it seated on the right track there. So ends up going like that. Right? New oil filter. You can see there's little indents here, and they actually line up with the inside of the oil filter. You just put those, you kind of spin it around. There you go. Make sure you give it a little tug. You should be able to spin the oil filter around freely, and it shouldn't come out. That's how you know it's in the housing. Okay, so once you've got your oil filter installed on the housing, you're going to want to reinstall it into the truck here. And just that little bit of time spent putting the filter in the housing, looks like the oils went down a little bit. Like I said, I've had it, you know, it rarely drains the way the angle's set up. So you just got to put it in, just be, you know, a little bit careful. Remember, your filter's stuck in there now, so you can go ahead, flip it upside down. Do not cross thread it, for God's sakes. You know, it is plastic threads on the housing. You know, make sure it's in there. There it goes. So yeah, like I was saying, there's quite a few threads on this thing, so Get it hand tight like that. Jump back with your big wrench. Make sure you're tightening. So we got 25 Newton meters of torque on this thing, okay? So if you want to get real technical, you can go ahead and grab your torque wrench. I don't usually torque that one down to spec. I'll torque the drain plug though. I'll get the torque spec for that one here shortly. But yeah, reinstall the filter. I just bring it right to, you know, it still goes. Bit of resistance. There it is right there. That's it. Done. Okay guys, I just wanted to do a little bit here on this really cool website. It's actually not a, well, it is a website, but AMSOIL. I'm not sure if you guys use their products or not. I haven't really used much of their stuff. I've got the transmission oil for this truck because they make it for the ZF8. But anyways, let me show you the website here because we're about to get into some torque specs. So once you get on AMSOIL and you load up your truck, it'll actually show you, you know, what you need, how many quarts. Hopefully you guys are able to read this. And it actually shows you torque specs. So this is 33 pounds for the oil drain plug. Anyways, I just encourage you to jump on here and have a look, and they got a bunch of different products and stuff like that. And yeah, for instance here, transfer case drain plug, you know, 15 to 22 pounds. So it's a really handy little website for that. You know, obviously you can check your owner's manual. That's the #1 spot. It's just, you know, a lot of us have our phones out, and you just click on that, load up the different part of the truck that you want to check the specs for, and if they're on there, they're on there. So anyways, like I said, this was, what did we say, 33 pounds? 33 foot-pounds, so, you know, if you want to torque it, you can. So I've got the, it's a 3/8 torque wrench. I've got it dialed into 33 pounds. Not sure if you guys are super familiar with, maybe you've never used a torque wrench before, I'm not too sure, but it's pretty basic. You know, you want to basically zero out at 30. How you do it is you basically loosen the back nut off. This is basically the lock nut that locks this top portion, so that when you're tightening it, you don't accidentally change your torque settings, which could be pretty bad. So when this is loosened all the way off, this should be fairly loose, right? This one's a little tighter. Don't really use it a whole lot, but then I'm just basically going to move this right up to 30. So I know you guys probably won't be able to see this too well with the light and stuff like that, but I want to get right up to 30. There it is. So I'm at 30 and it's at 0. Okay, so it's right flush with that. Now I need 33 pounds, so I'm just going to count up 1, 2, 3. That should be 33. Okay, because this goes up to 35, so at 0 it's 35. So then once I'm at 33, I just tighten my lock nut. And if you want to get real hardcore, you can you know, put something in there and tighten it right down. I just go finger tight, and then this thing should be pretty locked so that when you get onto her, you're not accidentally changing your torque settings like you said. So I'm going to go with 33 pounds and let's get underneath and we'll put the bolt in. Alright, so I'm back underneath the truck. Got my rags. I blew a glove apart. If you're wondering why I'm not wearing gloves. So I've got my drain bolt here. Now one thing you do want to look at with these drain bolts, hopefully you guys can see that, but there's actually a grommet on the bottom. And after so long, that grommet will deteriorate. And then you want to head to the dealer wherever you get your parts and just get a new drain bolt. Because these grommets, they'll actually, like I said, deteriorate. Not that I think that's going to end up inside the oil pan, but it's just a good seal, right? So you want to inspect that every oil change. So I'm just cleaning the bolt off, and then, you know, you just get underneath and I never used to torque these down, and, you know, the truth is you don't need, like it calls for 33 pounds like I've been saying. You don't need much, right? You're going to think about it. It's gravity, the pressure of the engine, everything. It's the oil, it's pushing down on the on the bolt, right? So I'm dialed into 33 pounds. I'm coming in. And that's it, 33 pounds. It's literally just a little snugness. Don't dip the wrench into the oil. Now what I usually do is I'll carefully, number one thing, don't forget about it on the truck and drive over it. I've never done that, but I'm sure somebody out there has. So, alright, we're just about ready to get up there, and we'll add our 10 liters. Just watch yourselves on these. They're little, basically, you know, if you've ever opened the fill tube, I don't know, but it only goes a little bit and then you gotta wiggle it out, okay? Lots of guys over torque these, and I've heard stories of guys breaking them, so you do not want to do that. So yeah, just pop it open like that. Alright guys, we're back in the engine bay here. I went ahead and cleaned my filter so it's nice and debris free. Got my 2 jugs of Rotella, and I'm ready to add the oil in, right? Pretty straightforward. If you've got the shroud on your engine, which you should, it's actually sound dampening as well. I removed mine because I've got an oil catch can over there, you can see. If you got the shroud, keep the shroud on, because if you do make a boo-boo, usually it'll just go on the shroud, and then you can wipe it out quickly instead of having oil go all the way down your engine. But unfortunately for me, with this positive crankcase ventilation hosing, it doesn't go. So like I said, it comes out quick. Drain plugs in. Probably go with a slightly bigger funnel. Must be a little bitch funnel, but it fits nicely right in there, and it stays solid, so when I get a bit hardcore with the pour, it doesn't flop all over the place. Okay, so then the last thing you want to do after you've topped up the oil and checked it and all that stuff, you just go into the dash there and reset the oil indicator. It's pretty easy, I won't bother going over that, but you just go in there, press and hold, I think it's the left arrow button, and then it'll reset down to 0. And then yeah, go for a rip. Alright guys, that concludes the oil change video. Pretty straightforward, like I said. More or less for guys that have never done it and like to look ahead, you know, get all the parts and stuff in order. So yeah, basically that's how you do an oil change for 90 bucks Canadian, you know. If you're under warranty, you can change your oil legally. The dealer's going to try to scare the hell out of you. The thing about it is you do have to have a paper trail, okay? The book's got to be filled out at the proper intervals. And keep all your records organized. In the off chance you lose an engine or something, you do have to prove that maintenance was done. You know what I mean? So don't be scared to do your own maintenance. It's a really simple little task, and like I said, you can at least you know it's being done right. You know what I mean? We've all heard crazy horror stories from the Jiffy Lubes and stuff like that. So not to knock on the Jiffy Lube guys by any stretch, but you know, you spend all this money on a truck, and then it only takes one bad story for me, and then I'll figure out how to do it myself, right? So yeah, that's it. If you own an Ecodiesel, consider subscribing to the channel. I mean, this tutorial is really basic, but I'm going to get more in depth with more of the other fluids and filters in the truck. By the end of the 10-part video series, we'd gone over just about all the possible maintenance items to go over, and then you'll be saving yourself a pile of money. So consider subscribing, and yeah, if you want to leave a comment below, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I usually answer them within the same day if I'm around. If not, next day, okay? Thanks, take care.